Hi everybody, welcome to GTCoding. In this tutorial series, we are designing this blog homepage using Next.js. Now in the previous video, we designed this featured post section over here. Now in this video, we will design the next section, which is the categories section. So let's get started. Now before beginning with the categories section, let's add this custom scroll bar over here on the right side. So here we can see that matching the colors of our website, we have the same color over here on the right side for the scroll bar. So let's do the same thing in our website. So let's go back to the globals.css file and let's scroll down, and here let's go ahead and create a comment. I'll just type custom scroll bar, and here let's go ahead and type ::hyphen webkit hyphen scroll bar, and let's set the width to 8 pixels, and let's go ahead and type hyphen webkit hyphen scroll bar hyphen track, and for the track we will add a background color of var, and we have a color called secondary that we already created. And the next thing we will add is : hyphen webkit hyphen scroll bar thumb, and for the thumb we will add a background color of var primary color, and we'll also add a border radius, and let's set it to 4 pixels. Now when you hover over this thumb, we need to change the opacity. So let's go back, and here let's type : hyphen webkit hyphen scroll bar thumb hover, and here let's type background and var primary, and let's type 0.8. so this will be the opacity. Now let's go back, and let's go ahead and restart our server. So I'll just press Ctrl C and npm run dev, and let's go back and reload this page. And now we can see we have the correct color for the scroll bar. Right now let's start creating the categories section. So here we have all these categories. Now for the categories section, we need to have all the data for the category name and the number of posts, and also this icon. So for that we will use the data.ts file. So here inside the lib folder, we have created this file called data.ts, and this is where we are storing the featured posts. So let's also export one more constant, and let's call it categories. Let's set it equal to an array of objects. First we need to have the name, and we can type tech for the first one, and then we need to have the icon. So let's type icon, and what we can do over here is that we can get the SVG of the icon and paste the SVG code over here, and then we can use that in our component. So we can go ahead and use backticks, and what we need to do is we need to go to the Lucid React website. So here we can see I'm in lucid.dev, and we can get all the icons over here. So let's click on view all icons, and for the tech we have this icon right here. So let's search for code, and we can see this icon. So let's click on the icon, let's click on copy SVG, and let's paste it over here inside this backticks. And then the next thing we need to do is specify the count. So let's type 24 over here for the count. Now in this way you need to go ahead and enter all the categories over here inside this categories array. So I'll just quickly go ahead and do that. Alright, so I have added all the categories over here. Now let's go ahead and create a component, and let's call it categories section .tsx, and here let's go ahead and type export default function categories section, and let's return a section. Let's type categories section over here. Let's go back to the page.tsx file, and here let's type categories section. Let's import it from components. And now if we go back to our website, here we can see we have the categories section. Now the first thing we will do is we will create the heading and this paragraph. So I'll just copy this, and let's go back and let's go to the categories section, and here inside this section let's create a div, and in the div let's create a motion.dev. Before that, let's go ahead and import asterisk as motion from motion/react client, and here let's type motion.dev, and let's create an h2, and let's type explore topics, and let's create a paragraph, and let's paste the text over here. Right now let's add some classes over here. So let's type class name, and let's type padding top and bottom of 20, padding left and right of 4, and for screens greater than smartphone, let's type padding left and right of 6, and for larger screens, padding left and right of 8, and BG muted 30 opacity, So this is how it looks. Let's go ahead and add some classes for the div. So let's type class name, max width of 7xl, mx auto to bring it to the center, and let's style the h2. So just type class name, text 3xl, md text 4xl, font of serif, font bold, text color to foreground, margin bottom of 4. Let's also bring this to the center. So let's type class name, text center, margin bottom of 16. And let's also style this paragraph. So here for the paragraph, let's go ahead and type class name. Let's set it to text large, text muted foreground, max width of 2xl, mx auto. Right now let's also add the animation. So let's go back, and here for the motion.dev, let's go ahead and type initial, and let's set the initial values to opacity 0, y of 20, and let's type while in view. Let's set the value to opacity 1 and y of 0, and let's type transition. Let's set it to duration of 0.6, and let's also type viewport so that the animation is displayed just once. So let's type once true. And now if we go back and if I reload this page, we have the animation, and if I scroll up and reload, and if you scroll down, we can see that the animation is being displayed. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to get all the categories and display them over here. So for that, let's go ahead and import the categories from the data. So let's type import categories from libdata. Right now let's create a const called all categories, and let's set it equal to categories. And later you can write the code to get the data from a database, and everything else over here inside the code remains the same. And here let's go ahead and go outside the motion.dev, and let's create a div. Let's give some classes. So let's type class name of grid. Grid calls 2 for small screens, and for medium and larger screens, let's type grid calls 3. We have 3 columns, and for larger screens, we will have grid calls 6, which is 6 columns, and let's add a gap of 4. And now let's go ahead and loop through all the categories. So let's type curly braces all categories dot map, and let's type category. I'll just call each of the individual categories category, and let's also get the index. And here let's return a motion.dev, and in this we'll also give it a key, and for the key let's type category.name because the name is a unique value. And let's also add the animations over here. So let's type initial. Let's add the same animations. So I'll just copy all of these, and we'll just copy it over here, and we'll just make a small change. So here I'll just change the transition to add a delay. So here let's type delay of index times 0.1. So each of the categories will be displayed one after the other when the animation happens. So here inside this motion.dev, let's go ahead and create a div, and in this div let's add a class name, and let's type group. So we will use this class to hover over our elements later. And let's also add another class called cursor pointer. And in this division, let's go ahead and type div, and for this div let's go ahead and add some classes. So let's type class name of bg card. So this will be the background color, so it is called card. And let's type rounded lg for rounded corners, and let's type padding of 6, text center, and when we hover over this we will have a shadow of large, and we'll add transition for all, and let's type duration 300. And for hover, let's also change the scale to 105, and let's also type border, and for the border color let's type border 50. Now in this, let's go ahead and create another div for the icon. So let's add a class name of margin bottom of 4, and now let's go ahead and display the icon. So let's type div, and here let's type dangerously set inner HTML, and let's set it equal to underscore HTML, and let's set it equal to the category dot icon. And now if you go back, we can see that the categories are displayed over here, and we don't have the correct color for the background. We'll change that in a minute. Before that, let's go ahead and add the other elements. So let's go outside this div, and let's create an S3. Let's type category dot name, and let's go ahead and create a badge. So this is basically a Shadcn UI component, and the badge I'll just type category dot count, and let's add some class names over here. So let's type class name of font semi-bold, text color to foreground, margin bottom of 2, group hover. So when we hover over this group, then we'll just go ahead and set the text color to primary. Let's add a transition, and let's set it for all the colors. So let's type transition colors, and let's set the duration to 300, and this is how it looks. Let's also add some styles for the badge. So here for the badge, let's add a variant, and let's set it to outline, and let's also add a class name, and let's set it to text access. And after the number, we need to add the text posts. So let's tap posts over here. Let's also style the icon, and we also need to bring it to the center. So here for the div, let's go ahead and type class name, and let's set it to width of 8, height of 8, mx auto, text primary. Let's type group hover, and let's set it to scale 110, transition for the transform, and let's set the duration to 300. And let's go back, and here we can see all the icons are being displayed correctly. Now let's change the background color. So let's go back, and let's go to the globals.css file. Now here for the root, we have the card color set to 100, which is the white color, and it is alright for the light theme. For the dark theme, let's go ahead and change the color over here. So let's change this value to 0.1371 and 0.036 and 258.5. And now let's go back, and let's reload this page. Let's go ahead and restart our server, and let's go back to our website. Let's reload this page, and now we can see we have the correct color for all the elements, and we also have the hover effect and the animation working all right. So with that, we have completed creating the categories section of our website, and it is completely responsive. So that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.